بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونشكره ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. إن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتون إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. وبعد, we thank Allah for the endless mercy He has on us. May the peace and blessing of Allah be on the trusted soul of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are also the companion and the believers to the day of Qiyamah. Today's lecture, as has been announced, is youth delinquency, causes and solutions. Youth delinquency, causes and solutions. Well, the word, some of the highlights include what do you mean by those terms, then what are the causes, what are some of the delinquent behavior or delinquent behaviors, then the suggested solutions. Obviously within it, we'll talk about what Islam has to say regarding the delinquent behavior and the youth generally. So, inshallah, that's what's going to be the lecture, inshallah. The outline has been stated as said. Sorry, give me I want to connect what they have here. Is essentially a criminal act committed by youths, usually defined as being between the age of 7 and 18. And it's a byproduct of it's a usually anti-social behavior. And what's anti-social behavior? Those behavior refers to behavior that either causes damages to interpersonal relationships or is culturally unacceptable, or in some cases both. So that according to them, the word delinquency is not a usual word in the sorry guys, we want to make some that is not recognized, that is not appreciated in a particular society. Well, I will shed more light on this when it comes to what Islam says about it. Now, when we talk about delinquency, Islam, or yes, a youth delinquency, Islam sees youth, the way the world or our society today sees youth is quite different from what the way Islam sees youth. Because youth, as known by Islam, start with those people that have reached the age of puberty. And puberty is determined by, in two ways in Islam. It's either a male has started having the night dream, or the female has started the menses. And in that case, if the male has not started having the night dream by 15 years, he will consider to have reached bulugh, that has transitioned the age of puberty. So also the female. So, and by that, we say that the age of puberty in Islam, we will say maximum of 15 years. So it starts earlier than that for some other people, but anyone that has reached the age that started those two, in terms of possibly that if a male, if he has started having the night dream, and or if the female started the menses, we consider him to be valid. That is. So, but in the Western parlance, what they consider as youth, anyone that is between the age of 7 and 18. In some countries it's less than that. Sometimes in some countries they make it 17. In fact, in some countries they make it 18. But the obvious thing is that it's a bit different from what Islam recognizes as being used. Well, sometimes we use the word juvenile, sometimes we use the word youth. They are both used interchangeably because in their terms they consider youth, they consider juvenile as someone that is within that age of 8, that is within the age of 7 and 18 or 17. And so the youth or juvenile, so most times they will say juvenile delinquency. They will say juvenile delinquency. But sometimes it's rarely used, they say youth delinquency. Both of them, they use that interchangeably. But in your own case, according to your topic, is youth delinquency, which means you are referring, according to their definition, the ages between 7 and 18, according to them. So, inshallah, but as we move on, we explain why Islam sees it like that, and some of those other things that we need to know about it, inshallah. As I said, this is the term. The way they use it, we'll look at it, we'll now look at what Islam provides and how we should conduct ourselves. That's the primary thing we want to do today, inshallah. Well, according to them, and according to what is happening in our society, several causes of several things are assumed to cause delinquency. Delinquency is that the crime. The crime. When youth or children or underage, as they say, commit crimes, they will call it delinquency. But when an adult commits it, they will call it crime. But sometimes you see me using the word crime in essence for delinquency, I still mean the same thing, so don't mind me. So, but in their own term, crime, they assume it to be committed. Only the adult is considered to commit that will commit crime. But for the youth, for the youth or underage, they will say it's a delinquency. So, but as far as Islam is concerned, whether it's committed by youth or by adults, as long as that person has reached bulugh, is still crime. Crime is still crime. So what are those causes? The first one is the family. Well, before I go, this discussion, I'll be discussing with some people that are not here. You know, some of your parents are not here, and possibly they are part of the problem. But they have to be discussed because you will soon become parents too, and some of them are already parents. So how will you guard against the occurrence or the reoccurrence? That's one of the primary reasons for this discussion. So, but when we are referring to the family, or there are some of the terms that has to do with the family, that there are some of the causes that are majorly related to the family, then as one of the members of the family, you are expected to take your own role, and especially the solution that will be provided, inshallah, and in the course of the lecture, you will see that solution, provide it when you have such. So, and primarily we don't assume, or we assume that those people that are seated will not have a delinquent child, a delinquent child among them, obviously. That we will not expect. But nonetheless, we still have to say that we might be divided into three. We might not rule out the question of having some people that will fall into that category of being delinquent. We might have those other group that they are not delinquent, obviously, but they may be delinquent later because of the happenings in the society, in the environment. Then we have the third group that obviously they are not delinquent, and we don't expect them to be delinquent in the future, but we want them to prevent themselves against it. So those three groups, all the groups will probably be here. But inshallah, as we are discussing, we will pick you up there. The first point of call or the cause is the family. The family, they say, is the primary risk factor that lead to delinquent behavior. As we know, family is the basic socialization agency for the children. They are the primary, the first school of any child is the family. So the Quran says that, the Prophet ﷺ said that, and even the world recognizes that the primary school, the first school of any child is the family. So, and therefore, children will learn basic concepts about good, about bad from their family. They will make their values, they will set their norms of society. Family can therefore make or break a child. The family can obviously make or break a child. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said that the children are naturally born as Muslims. Children are naturally born as Muslims. It's only their family that will turn them to whatever they become later in life. That if they are if the child is fortunate to be born by a Muslim family, then he becomes a righteous person. But if unfortunate to have been born by a Zoroastrian, that is the fire worshippers, or the Christian or the Jew, the Prophet mentioned them by their name. He said then they can become such a group of people in life. So in that case, family is the primary, the first school of any child. So family is considered to be the primary causes of the problem. Number one of the things that can cause the child to become delinquent, to become criminals, is the broken families. Most of the child, the research has shown that most of the child that are found beyond the bars, that are found in the prisons, or that are found committing crimes all over the world, whether here in Nigeria or elsewhere, most of them were found to be from broken families. There was a report from one of our amiable professor, Professor Abikon, some years back. He said, he was one of the members of the Senate that usually, or member of the Judiciary Committee somehow, that usually sit on those children that are caught in one examination of practices, or one crime or the other, or one delinquent action or the other in the school. That he found out that maybe he said this, or Professor Nelson, may Allah forgive him, said it. Either of them mentioned this, that they found out that those children, most of them, they were found to be from broken homes. those children that are found in most of those activities were found to be from broken homes. So broken homes or broken families is one of the primary causes of children becoming wayward, and therefore we should guard against it. For those of us that we are forming our family presently, or for those of us that will later form our family. Number two is, under that is single parent families. You know, what do they call them now today? Lady mama. Is that not? Lady mamas. They are even proud of it. They call themselves lady mama. They even form association of lady mamas. The meaning of it, or babies, or baby mamas. Baby mamas. That is, they were not actually ready for marriage. They were still babies, of course, in their own age too, and they choose to have their baby without having the father with them. So most of them, and those single parent children usually cause a lot of trouble. You will see it even at home. Those of us are children today. We are still children till down. Even the speaker is still a child. Is still a child in his parents' hands. You will see that it's not only a single parent cannot take care of a child. You will see it. Sometimes the mommy will be very harsh, while the father will be very soft. Sometimes most times the father will be very harsh, while the mother will be very soft. But the children need both hands to save them from trouble. Is that not? During your marriage, most of you fall on wrong hands, and for that reason, I want to advise you to take after your parents. After some of us that are your parents, that you start your life simple, and don't believe you must have a marriage before you do your marriage, because it is only by that some of you start looking for rich husband or rich family before you marry, and that is affecting your marriage, because most of those marriage eventually lead to separation. Frequent parent fights is also from the family. You know, by the time parents usually fight almost all the time, children will not learn anything from there except fights. So they will learn how to fight. They know how to, children learn everything. You don't need to tell them to learn it. They will learn everything. If you are the type that you fight almost all the time, then your child will definitely learn it. You don't need to teach them. They will learn it. And when they get out, you will see them bullying others, because they see their father or their mother bullying the parents. So it's important to note that, so that those of us that we are forming our family now, or those of us that are having that now, we'll see how we can manage that when we get to our respective homes. Lack of trust and confidence among the parents. These are some of the reasons that cause delinquency. When the parent fails to trust one another, and they fail to have confidence in one another, that will lead to a lot of problem, and it will cause what we refer to as delinquent acts in children. Then criminal parents, or psychological problems in parents. We have parents that are obviously criminals on their own. So they are criminals. They do a lot of things that are wrong. For instance, I was told in one of these universities, I don't want to mention the name, in Ilorin, and they found out that a child was cooking her food. Even a female. He was cooking her food with shishin. What do you call it? Cocaine. He was cooking the food with cocaine. So anytime you want to cook rice, you put cocaine there. Anyway, we want to put amala, put cocaine there. So they reported him to the school authority. When they reported him to the school authority, they invited the parents. When the parent came, they asked the parent. The first question the parent asked was, I hope she did not wound anybody, and she did not find anybody. They said yes. He said, that is how she used to do, even at home. That's how she used to do. She would put this in her food. They said, the school said, they said yes. So thank you, and they allow her to leave. Immediately she left, they just gave her expulsion letter. They gave the child expulsion letter. So some parents, they are criminals on their own. they don't really see anything wrong in it. You see, these are some of the things. Then we have rivalry and unequal treatment between children. You know, in some family we have what you call the rivalry is just too much. They will just be rivaling one another. They will say this one, they will consider this one to be important. The family, all of those things. You just see the rivalry straight among the family, among the children. So that may cause some children to become delinquent, because by the time they just notice that the parents actually supported the rivalry among them, so they will fight to finish. And these are some of the things that cause what you call delinquent acts among children or youth. The other thing is economic problems in family. This is one of the major problems, because in fact the research has shown that most of those children that engage in delinquent acts, they are the children from the low or poor families. It's not even something that we need to even say before we know. Most of them that you will see under the bridge, under the in the garage and the like of them, they are children that their parents refuse to send them to school. Their parents refuse to take care of them, and they look for a way to solve their problem. Is that not? So you will see them. Although we cannot rule out the question of some parents from even the parents from rich family becoming delinquent, but majority of those delinquent children come from economically poor family. So, and we need to know that poverty is a function of your intellect, a function of your belief, a function of what you think of yourself. It's not a function of how much money you have. Some people, what they consider to be poverty, that they are poor, when some people have it, they will say they are rich. So if you consider yourself to be poor, then you will continue to be poor. You will have, Allah will provide for every one of us the little we need, what will sustain us. We only want additional more for our luxury. So, and that's what makes some people to call themselves poor people. If you are contented with what you have, you will see that most of us, we are not poor. We only consider ourselves to be poor, and that gives us a lot of problems. In fact, it leads to low esteem. Some people will see themselves, they cannot make it because they come from poor family. You can make anything in life as long as you have very good and strong mind. So don't consider yourself poor just because you don't have money. The way you have this, you are not poor. The way you are not lunatics. You are not fools. You are not poor. You can use this thing to become anything in life. Just look beyond the environment. Just think about what you can do with your brain, with your hand. You can anything. You will see that even your parents are saying that they are poor, you will lift them out of poverty with your brain, just your brain. So it's only what you consider to be poverty that is only when you say you are poor that you are poor. If you say you are not poor, you are not poor. You can think outside the box. So another problem that leads to this delinquent act is psychological problem in family. You know, you have problems like depression, like frustration, like aggression, like hyper behavior. Those behaviors they lead to delinquent acts, because you see that some children they aggressively dealt with them. Some children are frustrated. Some parents have what you call hyper behavior. You know hyper behavior? Just like we have hyperactivity in children, we have hyper behavior in adults too. Hyper behavior is they will treat very small thing with utmost power. They will treat it with all harshness. they are almost always very serious. They don't laugh. You see, those parents, they cause something, they will mar more than making. They will cause a lot of trouble, thinking that they want to do good to their children, because they are too serious. They are over serious people. They are too serious. You don't have to be all serious all the time. You have to laugh. You have to be soft. You know, Arifq, Islam consider all those things very important. You don't have to be hard. You don't have to be harsh. So those hyper behavior can lead to children becoming delinquents. So we need to notice that some of us are just forming our family. In the name of, I want to be serious, I am a disciplinarian, I'm this and that, you are becoming hyper behavior. So you don't have to turn yourself to be mascara and mighty ego at all, just because you want to be serious. If I say John Cena now, everybody will know, because mascara and mighty ego are old version. You don't know them. Some of them were not born when they are fighting. When I say John Cena, or I say all those names that you will know, you will even laugh. Social problems in family like gender discrimination, age discrimination, racial discrimination also happens in families. You know, some of them will fight over age for months. You say, oh Samami, and they will just be fighting over small or useless things. You know, those things, they may not know, they may cause trouble, because by the time you are forcing some things on some people, they may cause that person to be very hard. So you don't have to, not to talk of some people that, because they have some people that are outside in their house, and some people, and because they are Yoruba, they will say, hey, what is the voice? They are Muslims, so, and we call them, you say, because they are Mallam, and so you are discriminating against them. So, and this is very bad. It's very bad. You know, we have incidents that happened in they said, and they had an accident, and I said, hey, what happened in the accident? They said, yeah, maybe you don't cook with mother. You don't deserve that. I think mother is not one of the human beings. So it's a racial discrimination. Another problem that we notice is moral problems in family. Those are things that cause delinquency. They cause delinquent problems. You know, moral problems in family, such as parents disrespecting elders. You know, when parents themselves disrespecting elders, they will not know that they are teaching that to their children indirectly. They will later see that those children will not respect them, and they will not respect their siblings, their fellow siblings. So if you have parents that are disrespectful to others, then they will teach their children to be disrespectful. Now talk of incest. That we incest, that is when we have parents having relations, sex with their children among themselves having sex, children of the same parents having sex among themselves. Those are incest. These are moral decadence we have in our midst today. Then we have parenting style too. Parenting style. You know, parents today sometimes very harsh, as I mentioned the right time. Some parents are very hard. Some of them punish their children for small issues. You know, some children start disrespecting their parents and becoming violent because of this. So parents and some of us that are coming of age now, we have to learn this. We don't have to be always very harsh. We have to be soft and sometimes hard. Then we have to make sure that our punishment is proportionate to the offense committed. You know, when somebody committed, maybe he came late to the house. He went for Isha or she went for outing and he or she came late. You can consider that to somebody that actually steal from the home. or somebody that actually commits a bigger offense. So if you don't know how to treat somebody that came late to the house, that he or she was still trying to say, moto Luqman, me teteri moto ni, all those things, you are able to consider them, you are able to see that as excuses. You have not been, some parents would not have been able to confirm what has been said, and they will consider it to be lies. Those are wrong. Even if that child is telling lies, the fact that you have not been able to confirm it, you don't punish on assumption. Don't punish on assumption. Once you have not been once that has not been confirmed, try to confirm it. In fact, Islam says that it is better to leave a criminal or a delinquent act than to punish an innocent person. That is what Islam commends. That we shouldn't punish on suspicion. So some parents are too harsh, and they punish on small issues, and they make their punishment disproportionate. It's not commensurate with the offense committed. So it's causing a lot of trouble. So, and it's causing the children to become delinquent, or delinquent acts. Personal reasons. You know, some children, it's not that their parents come from this house, or they come from lower, or whatever, all those we have mentioned, they might not be part of their reason. It might not be their reason. Their reason might be that maybe they notice unequal treatment in the society, or they notice unequal treatment in their family, or they are suffering from one psychological problem or the other, and the like of them, they will continue to become wayward. Another one is peer group influence. This is one of the problems that we have today. Some of you, most children, they will join gangs, they will join cliques, and because of the fact that you cannot go without having friends, but you have to select your friends, because children naturally become very troublesome when they are growing up. So you have to be selective when you're having your friends. Then peer rejection. Sometimes when your friends rejected you, some of those things may cause delinquent act. Then society. Society is one of the major problems. In fact, I'm supposed to have mentioned this one earlier. Society itself sometimes becomes very negative, as we have in Nigeria today. Society doesn't help any youth. Because when youth are trying to work hard, then when they go to society, they find nothing. When you try so hard to read, you don't want to cheat, you want to believe in yourself, and eventually when you get to work, you see some people just copying directly from your site. You say, hey, subhanallah, somebody stole from the class, and the teacher said, oh yeah, everybody, raise up your hand, close your eye, and face back. The child started dipping his hand in the pocket of each one of them, and eventually found out somebody that stole it, and he kept that thing, and he brought it out, and he called everybody out, and he said he has found it. He didn't mention the person. He didn't mention the person. That person was shivering. He was shivering. He was thinking of being told. So he didn't say it. The child did not mention anybody. And he saved the face of that child. You know what happened later in life? The child became better. I became rich. So he later found that teacher. I was helping that teacher. He now called that teacher. Do you know me? The child said, I didn't know you. He said, I was the person that you saved my face that day. When I stole so thing in the class, you asked us to do this and that, but you refused to mention my name that day, and that made me to change forever. You know what the teacher said? The teacher said, he said, that day I did it deliberately. Not only that, when I was taking your pocket too, I closed my eyes so that I would not know the person that actually stole it. So I didn't really know you were the one, even myself. That is what a teacher, that is the power of being a good teacher. So good teachers should learn how to, you are not, punishment is not to damage a child, is to make a child. You are not to break that child. So you should look for a way to make a child and not to break the child. So the last one among the causes, and the greatest of it all, is social media. Social media. Hey, whoa, as Igbo people will say, you know, is before we say our family, all those who have been mentioning, they are obviously the primary thing. But the greatest problem that you and I are having today as cause of the delinquent are what? Social media. Children learn a lot of things from this today, and I don't need to even stress myself before you know the answers. So inshallah, when I start mentioning the causes, the solution, I will help you on how to solve that problem. I've just started though, don't come around though. I've just started though. I've not this is just the preliminary. Now, some of the delinquent behaviors include murder, voluntary manslaughter, rape, armed robbery with firearm, cyber crime, ritual killings. I hope you mention you get them. Murder is one of the murder. So kéèyàn ọmọ tá a rò pé ẹ mọ̀ rò pé àwọn eré la fi ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ọmọ tí wọ́n ta ni wọ́n ya àkúyà yìí. Most of them engage in murder, they kill people. Voluntary manslaughter. You know the difference between manslaughter and murder? Manslaughter is when you decide to drink alcohol and you become drunk and you take your car and kill people. You know, you don't even know what you are doing, and you know some people, they will say, they will go and drink alcohol and they will take the daddy's car and drive and see people, the crowd, and will drive within them. Those are manslaughter. Then rape, armed robbery, and cybercrime. Ritual killings, as we all know today. What are the solutions? What are the suggested solutions? Number one, I will list them and I will explain one or two or three of them. Constant efforts to implement Allah's law in our society. You know, the primary cause of this problem is our society. Because if the society is good, even if you choose not to be good, society will not allow you. Yes. Because it is what people see that makes them to become what they become. In some society, they don't allow access to wrong social media outlets. I hope you know. But in Nigeria, it's free for all. In some country, their children, they provided what is needed for them. You don't have to strive before you eat. You don't have to stress. In some country, when you don't have money, the government will provide money for you for your education, but it is not for free. They will do that for you, and they will pay for you. After your education, they will wait for you to have your job. When you now have your job, they will deduce their money until they get it deduced. Completed. Are you getting what I'm saying now? You know, if any of us had that opportunity, will you become a delinquent? Because when you have somebody to care for you, to give you some things, to tell you that if you want to study, we are ready to sponsor you. You know, some of these things are nowhere to be found in our society. So one of the primary things we can do, and all of us, we have that mind, is we should try to bring the law of Allah back to the earth, to our community, to our society, and that's the primary way. If we strive for that, if we are able to achieve it, then Allah will reward us. If we are able to achieve it, then we will have our reward too. Number two, to command good and forbid evil. You see, you don't have to leave it to affairs. You don't have to leave it to those people, some people, or some set of people. All of us is our primary responsibility. We need to command command right or good and forbid evil. All of us. And those are the things that can save us. You know, Allah says in Quran, that when the problem arises, when everybody is in pandemonium, when everybody is having problem, when everybody is in stress, then those people that will be saved are those people that will have their belief, they will do righteous deeds, and they will call people to the righteous way, and they will be patient. Are you getting that now? So, forbidding evil and commanding good is one of those things that we have to do. Reawakening your belief in Qadar. Reawakening your belief in Qadar. You see, those of us, all of us, we have to reawaken our belief in Qadar. You might be surprised what I want to say. You need to know that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, our what is going to be our share in this world has been created 50,000 years before we are created. In fact, before the creation of this world. So, what is going to be your own part of it? You should know that it cannot pass by you. And that is why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam called Abdullah ibn Abbas. He said, Ya Gulam, Fasillah ya Fasil. Fear Allah and take care of the commandment of Allah, and Allah will take care of you. Why is that the answer? First alillah. First a'in billah. If you want to seek any help, seek Allah's help. If you want to ask for anything, ask Allah. Now, know very well that La in ijtama'a al-qawm ala an yanfa'uka bi shay'in lam yanfa'uka illa bi shay'in qad katabahu Allahu lak. Know that if the whole world gathered and they want to benefit you with anything, they can never do that except what Allah has destined for you. And if they want to harm you with anything, even if it's the whole world, they can never harm you with anything except what Allah has destined for you. My dear brothers and sisters, I want to give you examples of some people that have engaged themselves in ritual killing and what has become of them. Don't think of those people that succeeded. Think of those people that failed. We have of a child, 14 years old boy, is from Akure. You know, he went to the dealer. He want to buy a car worth of 14.5 million naira. A 14-year-old boy. The dealer was amazed. He was just thinking, are you mad? Is something wrong with you? He said, no. I want to buy a car. And this is the car I want to buy. 14.5 million naira. You know, the dealer he was thinking maybe he was joking. But later he said he should transfer the money. He transferred the money. He saw the alert. He went to the bank. He saw the money. Okay. You know, he thought they wanted to cause trouble for him. So he called police. Eventually, when the police came and the boss was arrested, and he don't want to confess, eventually he confessed that he actually engaged in ritual and that he used our mommy's spite for rituals. And they told him that any money he got first must be spent totally at the spot. So he wanted to spend the whole money on the spot. And the moment he confessed, he died within 7 days. You see, these are things. He wanted to become rich quickly. And when he was asked, where do you get the information when you get on Facebook? So when I say you should be wary of that, what I want you to get from there is, note that child, Allah did not destine to be rich in life. So he died. I have a story of a man too. From this one is from 3 from Ikorodu. Inshallah, I'll round up now. Now they caught him. When they caught him, they said, no, we didn't even catch him. One of our teachers was having a scar. We are doing a ruqya on him. So when he confessed, he said 3 of them went to those ritualists and they told them when they do that thing, one of them is only one of them that will become rich. One of them will die, while the other will become mad. And they still choose to do it. And they still choose to do it. In fact, when we caught them, he said, why do you do that? I think we assume I'm not going to be one that is going to die. And so we caught the one that was actually having the lunatics among them. So my brothers and sisters, the Prophet ﷺ said, Man kanat al-akhiratu hammahu. That whoever concern is hereafter, Allah will make his way for him in his heart, and you gather at his affairs for him, and the whole world will come turning to him. And if you make this world your problem, your concern, your main for you, and you will not get more than what Allah has assigned for you. So it is important we know that we should awaken our belief in Qadar, so that we know that we cannot get what Allah has not assigned for us. Another thing that we should pray fervently. Prayer is one of the keys. Prayer is one of the keys. In fact, I want to teach us on prayer, because some of us, we are in trouble already. Wallahi, some of you are in trouble already. I may not mention you, and you know yourself, and you don't know how to get out of that trouble. Please note some of this prayer. Be sincere about it. One of the prayer I learned from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet said, Allahumma, if you have your trouble, you notice you are being drawn by the delinquent act. You don't have the power to get yourself from pornography. You don't have yourself to get yourself from all those sites that is causing trouble for you. You need to pray to Allah to get yourself out of it. So one of the prayer I want to recommend is that Allahumma inni do'i, for Allah, I am weak. Faqawwini fi ridaka da'fi. For Allah, please strengthen me with your power. Wa awsil al-khairi Islami muntaha ridaya. And force me to be good. Push me to be good. One of those prayers you can say is longer than that, but because of my time. Another prayer you can say is that Allahumma alhimni rushdi wa izni min sharri nafsi. Oh Allah, inspire me guidance and deliver me from evil acts within myself. You know, some evil within you is pushing you to be bad. Pray to Allah to inspire you with guidance, so that you will sway away from those things that is pushing you away from Allah. Another thing is Allahumma ghfir li zambi. Oh Allah, forgive me from my sin. Wa wasi li khuluqi, and teach me good behavior. Wa tayyib li kasbi. Oh Allah, give me sustenance. Who are those people talking? Wa tayyib li kasbi. Oh Allah, purify for me my way of sustenance. Wa qanini bima razaqtani. Now, let me be contented with whatever you provided for me. Wala tazhibu qalbi ila shay'in saraftahu anni. Don't forbid my mind from going to from where you forbid me from going. And some other prayers that you can teach you can learn. You can learn it from Islaamiyyah, you can learn from other prayer books, so that you will look for appropriate prayers that is commensurate with your problem, so that you will learn how to get yourself out of the trouble. Lastly, you should be aware of be mindful of your physical and social environment, your online and your offline environment. I hope you know that now. You know, today, before we used to say your environment. Today we should be talking of online and offline environment. Your online and your offline friends. You know, those people are the causer of the problem. So note them. Define your value system. What do you cherish? Be honest. Be soft. Go with good people. Those are things that can save you from them. Then beware of the trap of shaitan. Maqaidu shayatin. Beware of the trap of shaitan. Then be in the company of the righteous. Allah says you cannot live alone. Taqullaha wa kunu ma'a sadiqin. Fear Allah and what? Be in the company of the righteous. Then lastly, remember that you are going to stand before Allah to answer him one day. So don't misbehave in this world, so that you will be able to face Allah and answer him when the time comes. I pray Allah accept whatever we have said from us, and let it be beneficial to the speaker and the listener. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. My question goes to us.
about the topic, youth delinquency. As well know that most of us are in universities, and we may not have those youth delinquencies in us, but our friends or those we move with, they have those delinquencies in them. To some extent, we may try to be using the formula that command good and forbid evil. But if you try all those possible efforts and it leads to vain, are you supposed to leave them at that extent, move away from them, or we should keep on trying?
Others too. You know, you know your strengths, you know your weakness. If you are trying to correct somebody and that person is drawing you to evil, then in that case, you need to move away from such a person. But if he was unable to move you to evil, and it's just that you have not been able to get him corrected or get him corrected, then no problem, you can keep on trying. So, but you will have to be careful so that such a person will not move us to. For instance, you are trying to somebody that you are living together maybe in a hostel, and the person used to listen to music all the time. I want to take a simple example. You are sharing the same apartment, and the person is a music lover, so he or she listens to music almost all the time. You are trying to correct him, and he didn't see any reason why he should change. Then before you know, you yourself, you started singing it some of the time, because you know music will just involuntarily come sometimes. You don't need to learn it. You don't need to learn it. It will just come. You just see that sometimes you just sing it. So you are being caught. So in that case, you need to find your way out of that place so that you will not be affected. I just take simple example. There are several other examples. So you should know the limit of your correction. The other sisters.